Hello. Yes, very much so. Welcome to Our Dinner is Done. I'm Sally, and this is Jimmy with one of our dogs. He's Meatball. That's Meatball. Say hi, Meatball. He's just interested in what's on the counter here. If you let him, he would take whatever it is and eat it. Hi, Grace. Welcome. Oh, there's Rigatoni. There's Riggy. She doesn't actually ever really try to get things off the counter, though. She's the good one when it comes to that. I'm gonna be face. Pretty girl. All right. So, hey, Mark. So tonight we're gonna be making. I kind of had a difficult time kind of coming up with a name for exactly what this is. It kind of puts together a couple of different things that we really like.
It's like a fusion dish.
It's like a fusion dish, right? So it's a little bit inspired by like Tex-Mex foods, because we're going to be using like peppers and beans and onions and taco seasoning. So it's going to be like kind of a Tex-Mex flavor profile, but it's going to be like a stir fry. So we're going to be using big tiger shrimp is what we call them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just big
like
shrimp.
a big, just jumbo shrimp. Tiger prawns, right. So we're going to be using those, and we're going to make a stir fry using kind of Tex-Mex flavors. And you can put this on top of rice, or you can serve it on top of a tortilla. So it's really up to you, however you want to do it. I'm going to eat it over rice. I think Jimmy's going to have it with some tortillas. But you could also put the rice and the mixture in a tortilla, however you really want. It's kind of inspired by like a fajita, taco, Tex-Mex flavor.
Because we've done shrimp tacos before, and there's been times where we'll just make the next day is kind of where this is inspired by. The following day, if we were to make like shrimp tacos, the following day we wouldn't bring like the tacos to school for lunch. Mm-hmm. We would just pack it in rice, beans, and the protein on top.
Yeah, we would just throw it together.
And we kind of have loved that. I just kind of felt like getting some tortillas.
Yeah. So you could really eat this however you want. But that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to make some, we're just going to use some red bell pepper, yellow bell pepper, some onion. We're going to saute those up first, and then we'll cook the shrimp, because obviously the shrimp, they're going to cook super quick, and we're going to cook them in a separate pot, like towards the end. I also have some white rice cooking in our rice cooker that has been seasoned with some salt, garlic powder, and onion powder, just to give it a little bit of flavor. And that's really it. This is going to come together super quick. It's one of those kind of quick dishes that we throw together during the week when we don't want to spend a whole lot of time in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to slice up these onions and peppers. You could serve this with avocado, with sliced avocado. If you have sour cream. Yeah, that's the plan. Okay. I want some avocado, and baby's getting avocado for dinner tonight, so we're going to...
Usually the avocado is just for the baby. I wasn't sure if we were allowed to.
Oh, no, we're going to have some too. Sour cream if you want it. You could top it with some shredded cheddar cheese, or like a Mexican blend cheese if you have it. So it's very versatile, and you can kind of just make it how you want. Basically like what you do with a taco night. You know, whatever toppings you want to use, you can do too, but we're going to make kind of like a saucy mixture with the shrimp and the peppers and onion. So there we go. Okay. Yeah, kind of like a feedable. Good thinking. Yeah. I looked it up today because I was like, I was going to say fajita-inspired shrimp dish. Mm-hmm. But then I was looking it up, and the word fajita actually came from the meat that you use to prepare this dish. So it used to be based on like a beef meat, but now like it's kind of been lost in translation. And obviously fajitas, when you go to a restaurant, Tex-Mex or Mexican restaurant here in the States, you're going to get any choice of protein that you like kind of want.
And I think fajitas, that sizzling plate.
Right, that sizzling plate of peppers and onions. But with this, we're going to change it up a little bit because we're going to be adding beans to this. And we're adding some tomato sauce. So that's different than a traditional fajita.
So it is more of the bowl.
Yeah, it's more of like, almost kind of like a stew in a way. Mm-hmm.
All right, so onion I have sliced in half with the end. And then I have the hairy end on the opposite side. I'm going to leave the hairy end together, slicing off the opposite end, because that is going to be where I'm going to make all my slices. So with this onion, am I going to be dicing or slicing?
I would slice it up.
All right, so we're going to slice it. So slice is going to be more of that fajita style.
Yeah. Yeah, I would use like the longer slices of the peppers and onions just so that you have a nice bigger bite. If it's too small, everything would kind of like, if you're going to put it into a tortilla, it's going to end up falling out. So I think the strips are a little bit better. If you're doing it as a bowl like I'm going to do, then it really doesn't make a difference, but just looks prettier this way.
Yeah, I agree.
So checking into the chat. Yes, you saw Meatball, you saw Riggy, and yes, our other dog, Hogan, the forgotten child, Grace called him. He wandered off, but he was around here looking for food too before. And then our real child is chiming in the background.
You can see, Sally, if you move back,
you
can
can
see
see.
a foot.
Uh-oh.
And a toy getting
Drop
thrown.
your toy. I'll get you another one.
Just rinse it.
He actually has another one. I'll get you another
He
one.
eats the floor with his mouth all the time anyway. At
That's
this
true.
point, I don't see why we're worried. No? Alright, so I'm just peeling the skin off of this onion. Struggling a bit with it, which happens sometimes. There we go. Now we got it. Now we're cooking. Alright, so I've peeled the skin off my onion. Normally I would be slicing it along these veins and then slicing into it and then dicing, but since we're going to make slices, I'm just going to slice perpendicular to those veins to make some nice thin slices, and that is going to give us more of that fajita style. I'm going to slice them pretty thin because I really want them to cook down nicely and liquefy, so we're going to go nice thin slices.
Yeah, that's perfect. And we're going to cheat a little bit in this dish because we're just going to use a prepackaged taco seasoning mix when we make the kind of mixture that we're doing here. When we actually season up the shrimp, we're going to use a little bit of that tagine seasoning when we cook that.
A lime seasoning.
Yeah, it has like a little bit of a lime flavor. But with this, we're just going to use a plain old taco packet. This one happens to be less sodium. You can get the regular one if you prefer. This is just what we had on hand. And obviously, if you wanted to do this from scratch, you could use like chili powder and paprika and different seasonings like that and make your own. But we happen to have one of these in the cabinet, and we're going to use it tonight.
It's just far more
easy.
easier.
Just easier.
So onions are sliced up, and as you see, they're just going to come apart nice and thin. Then we'll slice up these peppers. So the peppers, I'm going to take the top off first. Be able to pop the little stem out of the middle, and then I'm going to slice it down around like a little Christmas tree. This has been my new favorite technique for doing this.
Yeah, it's great.
Because you want to get rid of the seeds, and you also want to leave out those veins, just because they don't have as much flavor. And you're left with just this little insert of the seeds. Boom. You have a nice pepper ready to go.
Yep. And you just
Same
slice
as the opposite.
And when we're going to use red and yellow, just because that's what we like. We prefer the red, yellow, or orange bell peppers to the green. The green tastes a little bit like more bitter, so this is going to be a little sweeter, and that's what we're going to go with tonight. We have an orange one too, so depending on how much you want to use, you could use a third pepper if you want to. This actually came in a pack with the three different colors. If you prefer red, just stick with red. If you prefer the yellow to the orange, whatever you want. Just these tend to be a little sweeter, and they kind of match this dish.
Yeah. All right, so now I'm going to slice up this pepper.
Thank you.
So I want to match my peppers to my onions because they're going to go in at the same time, so they're cooking at the same time. Excuse me, I shouldn't talk in mouthful. At the same pace. So I'm going to slice or julienne the pepper. So what I'm going to do is just going to slice down long ways, about the same thickness as the onion. So pretty thin overall. I'll end up with these nice little strips.
They're perfect.
Baby agrees.
Yes, and while he's cutting that up, I'm just going to preheat this pan with a little bit of olive oil. Turn that heat on, but I'm going to put it on pretty low. I don't want it to get super hot super fast. Actually, we have some olive oil right here. This is going to be just about like a tablespoon or two.
Sharpen this knife.
Oh, that's what I sent you this morning. So earlier in the day today, I sent Jimmy an article I happened to see online that was like the 10 products that I bought after working in a restaurant for years or something like that. And, sorry, baby toy phone. Can you stop throwing these?
But it's too much fun. It's entertaining to watch you work.
All right, let's start that from the beginning. So I happened to see this article that was like the 10 kitchen tools I purchased after working in a kitchen for so many years, a restaurant kitchen for so many years. And the one item that we didn't have on our, was a stone to sharpen our knives. We have a knife sharpener. We do have like an electric one, but we don't have the stone.
Okay.
So that's what they were talking about. But we can obviously sharpen that with our electric sharpener. Okay, so now this oil is heating up, and then we're going to throw everything in and let it kind of cook up for the next couple of minutes, and you're going to want them to kind of become a little bit more tender. Obviously, the doneness is, up to you how much you like. If you want a little bit of a bite to it, you could obviously cook them for a little less time. But you want the onions to kind of wilt down and become translucent. That's usually the key. The peppers might have a little bit more of the bite to them. So we'll let them cook down like this. And then once they soften up a bit, then we'll season it up with the taco pack. We'll add some rinsed and drained beans. Tonight we're going to use black beans because that's what we have, but you could use a black bean or a red kidney bean, whatever you really want. I like white kidney beans. We didn't have any. Actually, I guess we had some cannellini beans, but tonight I'm just going to use black beans because I kind of wanted you to be able to like see them nice and bright in the dish. So he's going to pre-season all of this with some salt and pepper, obviously, and then we'll add our taco seasoning and everything else once this wilts down a bit.
So I'm just going to break up the sliced onion just because the slices will all stay together. So just by kind of mixing them around, they're going to come apart. So I want this whole mixture to mix together. I also want to coat everything with the oil, the salt, and pepper. So just by mixing it around, give it a little bit of a stir, kind of coat with the seasoning.
That's great. And while we wait for this to kind of cook down,
So
we could check the shrimp. Yeah, that's the next thing we're going to do. Lost an onion there. I want to pick that up before the dogs get to it, though, because they would definitely steal that, and that is something that they shouldn't eat.
All right, so shucking shrimp. This was always my job as a child. These are already deveined. You'll know they're deveined if they're sliced down the back side of them. So all you're going to, in this case, it's super easy. I'm just going to pull them apart. And in this case, once we're going into like a bake or into the tortilla, I'm actually going to pull the tail off as well. You could leave the tail on. It's more just for the aesthetics, or if you're making a sauce. Yes, it would impart a touch more flavor, a little more essence of the seed, but in this case, I'm not really worried about this. I think it's just far more user-friendly to have the tail off when you're eating it. So shucking these shrimp is actually super easy. When they're peeled and deveined, it makes it that much easier for you. Deveining shrimp is not hard. It's just a little bit time-consuming, and just a matter of taking your knife and slicing it down the back of the shrimp, and what you're removing is the intestine of the shrimp. You're getting rid of its poop. So that's what it is.
You don't really want to share that information, I guess, when people are about to eat, but it's the truth.
But it's the truth. In this case, you're
want to
not
take it
eating
out.
this. You want to take it out. I want to let you know what it is.
Yeah.
Poop. You want to get rid of the poop.
I actually am going to add just a touch more oil to this. Yeah. I didn't put quite as much as I wanted. Just a hair more. And I have this heat on about medium-high. So that this can really start to wilt down. So he's preparing that. You're taking the tail off for these as well?
Yeah. I was saying it's just more user-friendly as far as eating.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Certain dishes you keep it on just because it looks prettier. But, you know, when you're eating at home, it's easier to take them off. I gave him one of his spoons.
Not one of his spoons?
Yeah.
No.
I walked by with his spoon and he really wanted it, so I gave him one of his spoons. Here you go, baby. He's still, again, teething. This kid has new teeth all the time. So,
Hi, buddy.
7 months old and already has almost 10 teeth. It's pretty crazy.
Well, he has 8 and he has 4 coming in.
Oh, he has 4 more coming in. That's right.
12.
Yeah. He actually has 4 more. I thought it was only 2 more. You're right. 4 more. 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. Got a lot of teeth.
That's a lot of teeth.
All the better to eat you with. All right, so this is going to cook down like this, like you said. You are going to pre-season these shrimp too?
I am. Am I also going to cut these shrimp up? Or am I going to leave them whole?
You may want to cut them a little bit because these are really big.
Yeah.
So he's going to kind of chop these up into
I'm just
smaller
going to chop
bite-sized
them
pieces.
into bite-sized pieces. So these are...
Do you want the fish?
yeah, I guess so. These are 13, 15 count, which means there's between 13 and 15 shrimp per pound. So they're a larger shrimp. So if you had a smaller shrimp, you might not necessarily need to slice them up. But since these are larger, we're going to slice them up. It just makes it easier to eat, and it feels like more.
It does.
Kind of like how when we always cut our sausage, we'll, instead of just slicing it into circles, we'll give it that dice. We'll give it that additional cut by either slicing it in half or quartering it.
Right.
So these shrimp I'm just going to cut into about 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch pieces, or in this case with these shrimp, it's going to be about 4 slices.
Mm-hmm.
3 slices, I miscounted.
You can see in the background here that we've got these peppers and onions going. You can see how nice and bright they are too. That's why we kind of like using these colors as well, because it just makes for a prettier dish. And it's tastier. So we'll let these just soften up. That's really going to be the biggest part of this meal, is just giving these some time to wilt down and get a little softer. Because everything else is going to come together pretty quickly after that. And then the shrimp cooks like this. And then once they're cooked, we'll throw it all in together and make a nice little mixture. And we'll throw it on top of the rice. Or in your case, on the tortilla. When you use tortillas too, just a quick tip, if you're going to use a tortilla at home, make sure that you heat it.
Always.
Heat it through, whether you do it right on directly onto that open flame, or if you put it into a pot and heat it up that way, or a pan and heat it up that way. You want to make sure that you heat it on both sides and get it to brown up a little bit. Yeah. That's where a lot of that flavor comes.
It's meant to be heated before you eat it.
Yeah, before you eat it. Think about when you get fajitas at a restaurant, they come to you in that nice little container where they've been heated through, and then they hand you the container with the lid. You want them to be heated through. And if you watch a lot of cooking television like we do, like shows, for instance, like Chopped or Guys Grocery Games or something like that, you're going to notice chefs go home when they forget to do that. That's a big thing.
It's such a simple step. It only takes a minute, maybe 2.
Yeah, it takes a couple of minutes just to kind of heat them through. And even when we use hard taco shells, we usually put them in our toaster oven. They almost taste
stale if you don't.
Oh yeah, you kind of have to heat them through. You can put them in your oven or toaster oven.
All right, so my shrimps are all chopped up. I'm going to put them back into a bowl so that I can season them.
Great. Now, one thing that I did not add to this, which you certainly can, if you want to add a little bit of heat, is jalapeno. Do you want to use a little bit of jalapeno? Or
Tell me, we have.
I feel like we could. I know he likes to chop up jalapenos and put them on the top of his dishes, just like the raw jalapeno. But if you want to cut one up and we'll add a little bit to this dish, it'll give it a little bit of heat. Mexican food really has a lot of spice. Tex-Mex food isn't as spicy.
No.
But so this is, again, it's up to you. This is all personal preference. So this is a jalapeno from our garden, one of the last ones, right?
Yeah.
And we'll just toss that in there. Obviously, when you're going to use a hot pepper, the thing that makes the pepper pot is really the ribbing inside and the seeds. So if you want to tone it down a little bit, you can get rid of some of that.
Yeah, so I got rid of one to tone it down a little bit for you, and I'll leave the other half.
And that'll be your topping for later? Or you're
No, I'm
going to
gonna
put
put
everything?
that
Okay.
But it just reduces the amount of heat that's going in.
It's okay because we're going to be adding some sauce and some water to this, so it's going to tone down. It's going to mellow out a little
And
bit.
when you cook them, it's going to mellow as well.
Jalapenos aren't incredibly hot. They're peppers that are much, much hotter. These are starting to brown up now too, which is good. Great. And that adds a little pop of extra color in here. They always say to eat the rainbow, right? Like that's what's healthy for you. I'm actually turning down this heat just a hair because it's getting a little bit hot now, and so the peppers are starting to brown up, but I don't want them to burn, so I just lowered it just a bit. And I'm just going to continually stir this to make sure that they don't burn up. Yeah. After you season that too, we could even slice up some avocado.
Yeah,
just to prep it.
So I'm just going to salt, pepper, and shrimp. We're going to do a touch of garlic.
Yum.
Touch for us.
Touch is a lot.
And some of our tagine, which is the classico seasoning. It's just a lime.
It's like a chili lime sauce. Chili lime seasoning, rather.
It's
very tasty.
So good.
And when you serve up a dish like this, too, when you serve up a dish like this, you could certainly top it with a little bit of fresh lemon.
Oh, absolutely.
Fresh lime.
Lemon or lime. Any citrus. I mean, in this case, you're generally going to go lime. Sauce. Ready to rock.
Okay. So what type of tacos or fajitas or Tex-Mex types of foods do you like where you are? We actually ordered from one of our favorite Mexican restaurants not too long ago, a couple weekends ago, and I'm a sucker for a chimichanga. I love the deep fried burritos like that. Jimmy loves a fish taco. He likes those. We make fish tacos every once in a while. We'll make regular shrimp tacos. We've made salmon tacos. And actually, I definitely am craving some salmon, so hopefully we'll make some salmon sometime soon.
Sour cream.
Oh yeah, we do. That was part of the reason I wanted to do this too, because we have some sour cream in the fridge that we want to make sure we use. And it sounds like if we cut some of this avocado up, somebody might want to eat already. So we'll kind of feed him while we're cooking here. But he loves avocado. We love avocado in this house. We eat a lot of it. So good for you. And it tastes good. And you could make guac with it, or you could just eat it sliced. We eat it sliced all the time. Or sometimes we mash it up and throw it on like a sandwich, or different ways to prepare it. He said, I want avocado. He sees it, so he knows what's coming. Alright. These onions are definitely starting to wilt down a bit. I'm going to give them a couple more minutes though. I like them just to be a little bit softer than this. So he's getting angry because he wants some avocado.
Alright, so I'm going to slice up this avocado. So to cut an avocado, what do you need?
I want strings. Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you.
To slice an avocado, you're going to take your knife, start up near the stem. Just slide your knife in, nice and easy and slowly. You're going to hit the pit. Once you hit the pit, you're just going to roll your avocado along your knife until you come all the way back around. Take your knife out, twist, and it comes apart. To get this pit out, take your sharp part of your knife, avocado in the palm of your hand, and just gently tap it. So you get your pit, twist, and the pit comes right out.
Perfect.
So you have a couple of options as far as taking the avocado out. The most common way is just to grab a spoon. Take a spoon and just follow along the outside of your avocado. And it's going to come right out. Boom, avocado out.
Perfect.
I find that's actually the easiest way to do it. So.
Mm-hmm. We have that fun little tool to take out.
You do have the tool. Spoons serve the same purpose. Should I do 2 avocados?
Yeah, because he's going to have some.
What?
He'll eat a whole half. All right, so while these continue to cook down, I'm just going to rinse those black beans. You want to rinse and drain them. You don't want to use the water that comes in the can.
Angry baby. Yeah, so he's going to need to get half of this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, it's coming. All right, I hear you.
So he's going to get his avocado right about now. And I'm going to throw these black beans in. Sorry. Daddy's going to get you some avocado. Let's get you ready.
So the beans are in with the pepper and onion mixture. What, baby? It's coming.
There you go. All right. So we're going to mash up that avocado for him. I'm just going to let these beans heat through just a little bit
That is coming. Yeah.
with the peppers and onions. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to add the sauce and what we need to make this into a sauce.
Gosh, she's fresh right now.
Yeah. Somebody is not happy with us. So we apologize. Hey. Somebody said, I want to eat. You're talking about all this food. I want some food. I want some of this now. I want some of this now. Okay, so to this mixture, I'm going to add an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the taco seasoning. And on this taco seasoning packet, there's his dinner. To this packet, it says to add 2/3 of a cup of water. So I'm going to do that with the mixture, and it helps to just thicken it up and kind of evenly coat everything. And then I'm going to add an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce as well. And I'm just going to turn that heat back up a little bit because I had turned it down before. All right, so here's some taco seasoning. So again, you could make this on your own if you have a recipe, but if not, you can very easily use a taco seasoning pack from the supermarket. So I'm going to add 2/3 a cup of water because that's what it calls for. Here we go. So 2/3, just about 2/3 there. I'm going to add that in, and I'm going to give it a nice stir. Make sure that everything is kind of coated through here. And what happens with these like packets that you get at the supermarket is you add the water and you kind of let it come up to a boil and it starts to thicken up. Baby's doing a little better now that he's got his avocado. All right. I love the smell of these taco seasoning packs. It smells really good in here right now. Okay. All right, so I mixed that through. I'm just going to raise the heat just a little bit more. And now I'm going to use just a small can of tomato sauce. The can opener over here. And this is just going to create a nice sauce. It's going to thicken it up. You can very easily just use what's in this dish. Or in the pan right now, and that's just some water and the taco seasoning. But I want to add the tomato sauce to give it a little bit extra flavor, but also to just give it more of a saucy quality, so that when you top it over your rice, it's nice and thick, and it's almost like a stew in a way. Throw that in. And then we're just going to let all of this kind of heat through. And then we'll let this kind of cook together, and all these flavors will combine, and then we can start cooking our shrimp. And then once our shrimp is done, we make our bowls. Like, this is a really easy and fast meal. The rice is already cooked in the rice cooker. I just heard it pop over there, so that's ready to go. This is something that comes together super easily. So now I'm just going to give this a nice stir. And also, what I'll be able to do while this is kind of blending together, combining here all of these flavors, is I'll give it a taste. And if I want to add a little bit more chili powder or paprika or maybe even some garlic powder or onion powder, I could do that at this stage. And I might even add just a little bit of salt since this was a low sodium packet. But I'll have to give it a taste to be sure. And I'm sure that you can actually see this now on the screen. Look how pretty that is. I actually like the choice of the black beans too, because like I said, you could see them versus the red beans. They kind of all blend in together. So the black beans just look super pretty. So I'm going to put this up, and it's going to come to like a little bit of a boil so it starts to thicken up, and then I'll bring the heat down again. Baby likes avocado? Yes, he does. Who doesn't like avocado, right? Okay. So I'm going to give this a little bit of a taste now to see if it needs anything else. Very hot, so actually it's perfect the way it is. What I might add just a hair of salt. And I'm just going to we have a sea salt grinder. Just going to add a little bit of that. And just a little bit of pepper. And I actually might put a little bit of that tagine. Just so that we get that citrusy kind of flavor in this too, because we used it on the shrimp. Perfect. Okay. Now this is at like a low boil. So I'm just going to give it a nice stir. Good. And then I'm going to bring down the heat, and then I'll just let this kind of simmer together. The peppers will continue to soften up. The beans will get nice and heated through too. And then we can get started on our shrimp. So I'm just putting this now on low. And we'll let that just do its thing until we're ready to add the shrimp to it. And then once we do that, we're ready to plate everything. So we're going to get our shrimp going. Do you want to do the shrimp while I finish that with him? All right, I'm going to give him some more avocado. We're going to switch shifts here. And he's going to show you how to make our shrimp. Wash my hands.
All right, so shrimp, super easy. Just a nice little stir. I don't want it to burn. Man, that's awesome. All right, so our shrimp is already seasoned. I'm going to add a little oil to our pan. I don't need a lot of oil because I actually oiled the shrimp so the seasoning would stick. I'm going to turn this up to medium-high. So I'm going to cook the shrimp hard and fast just to get a nice sear on it. pan with some oil.
Give it a taste, right?
Yeah.
Tastes good.
All right. So let that oil heat up a touch.
Anybody got any questions in the stream? Let us know.
So I'm going to let this oil get piping hot so that the minute the shrimp hits, it's going to start sizzling and cooking through. I like it when it gets a little bit of a char on the outside.
Agreed.
It adds a nice layer of flavor to it. And then it also adds a nice bite to the shrimp. So I know my oil is ready when it's moving very smoothly through the pan. You can see it really flowing. I don't want it so hot that it's smoking. But just there, so that when the first one hits, get a nice sizzle. So once this cold ingredient hits, it's going to cool a touch. So I'm just going to stir it just a touch so that all the shrimp is hitting the surface, and then I'm going to let it cook. I'm going to let it simmer and let every side catch some of that heat and get some char.
And those will cook, they're going to cook very quickly. Shrimp cooks like this.
About 2 minutes on the first side. When I flip, it'll be another minute. It'll be cooked through. Just cleaning as I go.
Yeah, cleaning, feeding babies. This is real life.
Very honest cooking show.
Yeah, this is what happens at our house at night while we're making dinner. So this is very much real and what's going on in our house right now. I'm just going to stir this up. Just want to make sure that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan and get too hot or burnt. We're going to let that shrimp just do its thing before we flip it over. So like you said, you're going to do it for about 2 minutes on the first side, then flip it over and do it for like about a minute more.
Shrimp is sizzling. I can see it starting to change color. You're getting those orange pink hues. I'll let you take a peek in a minute before I start to turn everything.
Yeah, looks great. Someone likes avocado.
Oh yeah, he really does. That might be his favorite.
That or banana.
Hi, Babs. Welcome, welcome.
Oh, hey, Babs, welcome.
All right, it's been about 2 minutes now. Give you a peek at the shrimp. So you can see that not cooked through. They're cooked a little bit more than halfway through. You can really start to see that pinkish orange hue, almost red on the underside. So now I'm just going to give them a quick flip. Since they're in little bits, it's not quite as pretty. If you kept them whole, they're easier to flip. But in this case, you can still flip them over. It just takes a touch more work. They're going to taste better.
So now this sauce here is definitely thickening up too. So this is really perfect and it's ready for that shrimp. Once the shrimp is cooked through, we'll throw that in here, give it a nice toss so that the shrimp are coated in it, and then we can start plating this up. Our dogs are licking up the avocado that is on the floor.
Yep, they are getting ready for dinner as well.
Yeah.
to make a nice pretty pan, which is pretty cool. Once you have your avocado sliced in half, you just slice it long ways, leaving it together at the very end. You can then flip it over and fan it out so that it looks nice and pretty.
Yeah, looks beautiful. And then it's going to look super, super nice on the dish. I'm going to start transferring over these shrimp.
Yeah, they're definitely ready.
Okay, so these are good to go. They have that beautiful pink color. I don't know if you can see it here, but you kind of can. But now they're nice and pink. I just didn't want to reach across the other. They're perfectly pink, and they also have a little bit of browning on both sides, so they're perfect. And they're ready to go into our stir-fry mixture. I'm just going to toss them in. And then I'm going to give this a nice stir. And then we can really start plating these and get them ready to go. Our rice has already been cooking in the rice cooker, so that's already cooked and heated through. So we'll just throw a little bit in a bowl. What we were saying earlier at the beginning of the stream is that you could kind of eat this any way you want. Since it's nice and it's thick and almost like a stew, you could eat it with tortilla chips if you wanted to. You could throw it over white rice, or you can even put it into a tortilla. So I'm going to prepare mine as almost like a rice bowl. And I'm going to put some rice at the bottom of the bowl, put this on top, sprinkle a little bit of cheese. And we have some sour cream as well. You can put a little dollop of sour cream and serve it with your avocado.
Yep.
So now, this is all done. So now I'm going to show you what this looks like.
What? You can't have
This
that.
avocado's done, and
Well
now
done?
he said, I want to come out of there. So I'll show you what this looks like. Look how beautiful that is. You can see the nice strips of the yellow and red bell peppers, the strips of onions, that yummy, yummy shrimp, and those black beans. So it's a really pretty dish. And then it's going to look even prettier once you plate it on top of your rice or on your tortilla. So, I'll show you how I'm going to plate mine up. I'm just going to fluff up this rice first. Oh, yeah. That happened the other day.
You want to try a little more? And not spill it in your shirt? Spin is good though. Caught it. Slow it slow.
I like a lot of rice.
He's chugging.
I don't skimp on the rice.
Yeah. Not bad
And
for you.
now, so I have my bowl of white rice here. There you go. And now I'm going to top it with this mixture. So I'm going to just use a regular serving spoon here like this and make sure I get a little bit of everything. So I want some of the pepper, I want some of the beans, I want some of the onions, but I also really want that shrimp. The yummy, yummy shrimp. Now I didn't plate this so beautifully. I have sauce all over the place, but it's because I'm getting hungry and it looks delicious. So you can see that right there. Looks yummy. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of cheese and then toss my little avocado right onto the corner of the plate here too, or the bowl. And that will look super, super yummy. No! I thought we had cheese.
They used it in mac and cheese.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so no cheese. I thought I had cheddar cheese. I lied. I don't. That's okay. I'll throw a little sour cream on there and my avocado, and I'll be good to go. You could use a Mexican blend cheese if you have it. You could use anything really that you like. I think we only had mozzarella cheese. I'm going to just say no to that tonight. Okay. Right, you're going to throw some sour cream on there and my avocado. And then I'm ready to go. And what he's doing on the other side, I don't know if you can see him, is he's feeding through his tortilla. So that he's going to make it almost like a fajita or like a taco, really. All right. So I am going to just wipe down this bowl so that it looks a little prettier. And what I'm going to do is I will post the recipe to this on our Instagram page later on this evening, as well as a photo of our dish. If you don't follow us there, please do that. It's at OurDinnerisDunn. And then later on, I will also put this video onto our YouTube channel. And if you missed that here, or if you came late, you can catch up and watch it on our YouTube channel. And it's the same handle, at OurDinnerisDunn. So, I think we're ready to say goodbye.
I think so.
All right, so our dinner is done tonight. I'm going to throw some avocado onto my plate here. Just like that. And you can see our dish is done. There it is. Have a great evening. We'll see you on Friday. We stream on Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your week. Be safe. Be healthy. Take care, everybody.